Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. In today's episode, we're going to jump into what's going on with the market out there, how people are needing to be a little bit more creative with how they buy or sell real estate, and then also talk about levels of customer service. We've got a great guest with us today in studio, Gabrielle Montano, realtor with Next Home Alliance. And I think Greg Douthit with Security Title got you in here, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Been working with Greg for a long time. Thank you.
He's a cool dude, huh?
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. That's what Joey says. Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah. He's all right.
Gabrielle, why don't we start with you sharing with the agents how long you've been in real estate and what got you into the business?
I don't think about that often, but I think it's been 12 years, somewhere around there. So it's just been a long haul. I have different experience in different angles of it, so it's hard to keep track. But I started off in lending years ago. I did about 5 years in lending. I originated and processed, then went and did some title work, like internal title work, for about 9 years. So that's basically what got me here the hard way, the long way. Ended up doing that, but I had thought about real estate way before I actually did it. I just you have to be ready. It's definitely a business. You have to be ready to be, self-motivated, self-marketed. There's a lot involved in that. So if you jump in too soon, you're just going to kind of feel like you ran before you walked,
So when did you get into lending?
To lending, it was, what year was that? That was right before they required the actual licensing for state.
Yeah.
That's when I had to figure out, all right, am I going to do this full on and get licensed that way? Or am I going to go my other direction, which was real estate? So that's when the decision happened. Okay. It's like pick and choose what direction you're going in, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. I think a lot of real estate agents started somewhere like in mortgage or title, because I know Joey and I both were loan officers beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nice. Look at you. You both originated?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
A long time ago, though. I think I started with one of the big banks in '96. And then moved out to Phoenix and jumped on with a mortgage broker there. And
he was a baby lender.
Yeah.
No, I actually, before all of that, I was in banking for 14 years. So it's been a whole finance, progress here. But I think this is where I was supposed to end up. I think we never know.
Sure. But knowing the finance part of it,
it helps.
It helps a lot.
It helps a lot. Yeah. Expectations from your lenders, presentation to your buyers and sellers, like it helps just know the inside of all of that. So it definitely benefited me, but I loved processing more. I'm more of a task oriented person. So I loved processing, and I also got to talk to clients and things. So that was, I think, my favorite. My favorite was not originating. But yeah, that's how I got here. I'm an Arizona native. I have to say that because there's so few of us.
That's my wife and Jeff's wife.
And my wife.
What?
Yes.
No way.
Not a lot of them.
I gotta give you a round of applause.
There we go.
Yeah, not very many of us, but yeah, anytime I run into one, it's like running into a unicorn anymore. I more have people from back east, anywhere really. And it's nice that we have so much diversity from everywhere, but it's nice to find that Arizona natives. I grew up in downtown Phoenix, Central Phoenix, before it was cool.
Yeah, before it was cool.
Before it was cool and the place to live.
It's actually pretty hip now.
Yeah, it's pretty hip. I guess I'm not hip enough. I left, but I'll you know what? I'm hip enough to end up there. I want to move back. I want to move back eventually. So yeah, it's definitely a cool place. Lots to do. I love Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what do you think of this market that we're in right now?
I love that.
This is, let me tell you, this is a PG rated show too.
Yeah, let's keep it PG. Let's just say, can we do hashtag the struggle is real right about now?
Absolutely.
It's interesting for sure. It tests the best of us, but it really does make us go to our core as to why we really do what we do. It's a service industry. We are in sales, but to me, it's a service industry, and I'm here to help someone and fill a need. So I do have to get creative in my business, and do more of that, counseling and talking to people, listening more than anything, more than the talking, to see where people's needs are and see what tools we have in this market on how to fulfill that. So it's
Yeah.
for sure. It's tested my knowledge. It's tested my patience.
Yeah.
Because we do have to get creative, and find solutions more than ever.
Well, how
Isn't
I
it?
see it.
Oh, go ahead.
Here's how I see it. Think about working out a lot before, right? So we were working out, we were in the groove, and then we were doing really well. And then all of a sudden we just decided, let's kind of stop working out a little bit. Right. So we stopped working out and things were, we were still looking good. And it takes a while for us to get out of shape again. And then when we know we have to go get back into shape, it's hard again. Because during the 2 years the last 2 years when things were crazy, like crazy good, I guess, except if you're a buyer's agent, things were really good and things were just kind of coming to us. Right. I mean, things were easy. Especially if you're listing a house, I mean, you get 20 offers the first day.
Right.
And now we're kind of having to go back to the basics, right? Going back to the contacting our sphere, going back to networking, going back to speaking with others and counseling, as you were saying.
Right.
And so for us to do that, it's like, okay, well, we need to get back in that groove, just like working out. We're got to get past that pain and then get back to where we are. And I think it's the strong agents, the agents who've been here before, who know this market and say, okay, we're going to go back to where we used to be.
Right. Which we should have done anyways, right?
Exactly.
It's kind of like savings. We should be better savers. We know that's a fact. And when things are good, we don't save, we splurge, we spend.
That's right.
And then comes the pain when we don't. Well, same thing in business. If you're self-employed and you're just thinking that things will always be the same, because I'll be honest with you, a couple of years ago, when things were falling on our lap, when it came to listings, it was such an emotional process for buyers.
Sure.
And I did not, how can I put this? I was not specifically in the position of, having a deck of offers, because I didn't want to put my sellers through that. I had conversations with my sellers, very deep conversations, where I said, do you want to shuffle through 35 offers? Let's price it realistically. And I don't think I had one seller that priced their home insanely high. We still had to deal with going through people offering more than list or waiving inspections, liability and that. We had to go through all of that. So it was a different market, but it was also a very emotional market.
Sure.
And there's a lot of emotion that goes into the biggest purchase that someone's going to have. So it's always difficult. It's just different.
Yeah.
It seems like it changed pretty fast, didn't it?
Almost overnight, practically. It felt like
it's like 2-3 weeks, honestly. I mean, just
yeah. Well, I had a few sellers that were on the border of listing, and they were thinking about it or whatever because things were good, right? Well, one of them I had to do some process and waited a couple months. Totally different market. Someone else was about to list and they were going week by week. And I said, and they kept touching base. And I said, okay, well, I literally have to check comps again.
Yeah.
Because I have to see what's gone pending from last week. So it has changed. And I think that's been the most difficult, is having to keep up with all of that. What is sold. And of course, we don't know what it actually sold for until it closes, what it appraised for. So it's been a tough one.
During that change, I don't know if you had this issue. Well, when I was doing comps, it was a little bit difficult as it was slowing down, because you're looking at, when we look at comps, we usually look at the last 3 months.
Right.
Well, last 3 months was crazy. And so you're kind of looking at it. Now you have to go based off of what is out there, what's for sale.
And
then you say, okay,
how many days has it been on the market? Do they have any activity? We're having to make more phone calls and keep those business calls personal. Like I've made more phone calls than ever. Are you having any activity? And this is, in the industry, this is when we should really work together more. We should always do that.
We should,
whether
not
it's
fight against each other,
not fight against each other. This is a business where we have to work together for a mutual happiness, right? We want both of our clients to end up happy. And this is more than ever in difficult markets when we should be doing that.
Yep.
We should always be doing it, but now more than ever is when it matters, because that shows the core of your business, who you are, your ethics, as far as work ethics go. And that's going to shine and come through. Jeff, you're being really quiet.
Yeah. So it's interesting, the dynamic, right? Because it seems like buyers are like 2008, 2009 again, where, oh gosh, I don't know, or price is going to come down more or what have you, right? And then sellers are still like 2021, like, well, I want the top dollar still.
Right.
So I think it's that, how do you, that negotiating, right? To make sure that both sides are happy with the decision.
Well, there's a saying, right? Home is only worth what a buyer is willing and able to buy and pay for.
That's right.
I really had to say that the other day, because the way we comped it, the way it's priced is still fair, but we're getting no showings. So if we're getting no traffic, no showings, how much is it really worth? What does that really mean? So you have to really, get down to the basics and what's really going to make your goal happen. That's ultimately what it is, regardless of what you can label the market. Is it crazy? Is it good? Is it bad? Whatever an opinion is, it's still going to be down to basic need. What do you need to happen? And what do we need to do to make that happen? It's that
right. Yeah. And I think there's just so much uncertainty right now, with inflation, with the cost of all the other goods. I know my wife and I went to Costco the other day and we're like, oh my gosh, we spent like $480, and just one cart full. I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah.
Yeah. But, it's a love-hate relationship with Costco.
Yeah.
All of us. It's like, what? I just bought like a cart full of stuff. Why is it $400?
I know.
You get more for your money.
We went for the hamburger this time instead of the steaks. There was a package of steaks. I think it was either 4 or 5 steaks. It was like $75. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
It's definitely not as full of a basket or grocery cart these days. But
I think with the cost of all the other goods, right? I mean, people are wondering whether they should buy a house, let's say, right? Because they don't know how much higher things are going to get. Right. And things haven't really come down. I mean, the necessities really haven't come down much yet. So
that's, I think, one of the misconceptions is people are saying, well, house prices are down, right? The truth is, yes, but they're a little bit, but it's not that they're dropping. It's not that the talk of the quote unquote bubble. It's not that. It's they're leveling off and trying to figure out that sweet spot as to value versus ability to buy for our buyers. That's the only thing that's happening. It's leveling off. It's adjusting, but I wouldn't call it dropping. I really wouldn't say that, because the value of living in Arizona is what it is. The cost of living will be what it is. And it's also adjusting. It's a simultaneous change, and we have to stick with it and see how to get our buyers in a home. Because as you were saying, are they questioning, should I buy? Well, people still need a place to live. And like I told you, my most recent buyers that just closed, they saw the value. They were going to pay in rent about $2,000, $2,200 a month. Well, they see the value at the end of the year. Do the math. You're still in something. You had a roof over your head, but you didn't grow any equity. You don't have something that you're going to have to move again. There's so much value in that. And they saw it. 23-year-old couple. They saw the value in buying instead. Like I said, you marry your home. In that year, you could be doing improvements. You can be settling in. It's going to go by fast. If, the interest rates do something different in a year, then you refinance, or 2 years. And by then it's a win-win. But they saw the value versus renting. Renting, you're going to be investing on the roof over your head, and that's it. You're in it over 25 grand, in the year, and you've got what to show for it. So that's basically the vision that needs to stay fresh in people's mind. I don't want people to not be able to afford to eat by any means. I would never do that. But see the value. If you can afford the monthly payment, don't get married to it. Just date it for a little bit. Just date what do they say? Date the interest rate. So, that's basically what it is having to still feel that need.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I think this next 12 months will definitely, tell us what's going to happen for sure.
Watching and learning.
Yeah. Get the popcorn ready, right? Because it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think some people probably will, unfortunately, go through some pain. But I do, I think that home ownership, I think if people can get in, especially people that got in at the 3%, 4%, those low interest rates, they're pretty much set as long as, their plan is to stay there for long term.
Right.
So you may start seeing some sellers or people that might need to sell. So let's say they need to sell. It's not something they really want to do, but something comes up and they need to sell. You may see more sellers get creative with offering financing, right?
Right. Exactly. And that's what we're seeing more of is the creative options, the seller financing, the lease to purchase options. We literally have to look at what other options, and it's not just on the buyer side, because like you said, sellers are still going to need, people will still outgrow the homes they live in, or they will still want to downsize. Those changes are never going away. Those life changes will never be gone, and we still have to fill those needs. So it's about pricing a property adequately with a professional, making sure that we're staying on top of the market, on top of comps, and making sure we know how to do all of those things for them. But as far as buyers go, they're still going to need a roof over their head. There's still value in purchasing versus renting. There will always be that. I have people that will argue till they're blue in the face that they'd rather rent. Okay, tell me the value. They just don't. To me, honestly, sometimes I think it's more of a commitment issue. Like they want to be able to call the landlord and fix it. That's literally the only reason that they come up with. I'm like, okay.
Are these younger? Or?
Believe it or not, it's a wide age range. It's a wide
range.
age range, and it just baffles me. I'm like, oh, you're so
yeah.
cute.
I mean, I understand why when people need rent, like Jeff, for instance, they're renting because they just moved to Missouri.
Oh, sometimes you have to when you're relocating.
Yeah.
By all means,
to
there's
understand
definitely
the local area. And
I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
There's life changes where you are transitioning, and that transitional stage, most definitely, you don't want to impulse buy.
Yeah.
If you're moving to a different state, you rent and you find out where you want to buy. But that's a process. But to not see the value of it versus renting, I could argue till I'm blue in the face too. It's like I can do a little bit of arguing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
sure.
It's more of a discussion than anything. It gets interesting.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just have to see what happens in 2023.
It's interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's almost here.
I know.
So.
I know. We're in November.
So crazy, isn't it? How fast it went?
Yeah. As soon as Halloween comes around and goes, you're just like, all right, the rest of it just kind of, blah, blah, blah. It's just a blur.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So tell us too, I know before we jumped on here and hit the record button, we were talking a little bit about how your goal, or kind of your thing that you really want to focus on going forward in real estate, is to kind of raise that level of customer service. Right. So why don't you share a little bit about how you're wanting to do that, and what are you doing?
Well, the reason for that has been my experience. I just think that the expectations, that level, that bar isn't as high as it should be. And that's in general, right? In our industry and in this business, but especially in the Hispanic market. It's the sweetest thing, and it warms my heart when I do have a client that are mainly Spanish speakers. For example, they may speak both languages, but their comfort is more in Spanish than anything. And I speak Spanish to them. I don't know. It's a visual for me. Like I see them, like it's the stress. Like when someone gives you a statement that just releases stress, like their shoulders relax, they drop, like their facial expression is just like peaceful, right? And I've seen that. I've seen it more than once. And that level of being able to relate to the person that you're working with. Purchasing your home is not a joke. It's the biggest purchase any family will make, the biggest investment you will have even in your retirement years. So, to me, it's huge, right? So I want you to understand, I want you to be at ease when you're doing it and understand the whole process. And I've just felt along the way that the level of service that's expected, not so much given, because we can all give the best that we can give, right? And we all offer something different. But as far as the level of service that is expected, I want to raise that. I don't know if that makes sense, because like I said, we all do our best every day, but when it comes to what people expect out of the whole process, I want to raise that. And it sounds really simple, but it's a huge thing for me, because it's personal. Like when I help my business started off as a referral based business. And I'm sure you both understand that, having been in the industry before, that's huge. That's huge. That's word of mouth. That means that client was that happy, that fulfilled, that they spoke of you professionally, kindly, and in so many ways. So when you have a referral-based business, it says so much about that. And that's basically where I want to focus every time, every single time, every client. Make sure that my experience, no matter what the language, my experience is at the same top-notch level, and that it's recognizable and remembered.
I think the last 2 years too, the craziness, they're really, even though we should always be treating our clients, with great
with
customer
integrity,
service,
great customer service.
it just seems like because it was so crazy, things were just moving so fast.
Yeah.
And, I know that, and I'm not saying any specific agent, I'm just saying that in general, it seemed almost like some listing agents were just really short, like, okay, just next, right? They didn't really.
And not so much just with a client contact with each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Got vicious.
It did, didn't it? Yeah.
They got vicious. And
if they called you back.
I'm very proud that I kept myself level-headed. What did you just say?
No, I said if the listing agent would even call you back.
Oh, yeah, if you ever even got someone on the other end, exactly, 100%, that was true. But like if you got someone, like they weren't being very nice, and I don't think the tough times will show your character.
Yeah,
it will shine. Your character will shine, and I genuinely would. I think I would pull the kindness out of people, because I would be like, I would just make it that extra, with extra intention, just so that they would hear themselves, like be kind to each other. Like it's not just another transaction. We're still in this together. Same with new home sales. We're always working together. And there seems to be something there where in tough markets, oh, well, we don't need you. Yeah, we always work together, because in real estate, if there's one thing, just like interest rates, they will always fluctuate. Real estate will always have its dips and
ebbs and flows.
Exactly. So it's historical. It will always happen. So we should always be kind to each other. Kindness goes a long way.
And you can tell, because I know I dealt with both kinds during the crazy time, and the really kind ones were like, oh, I know what's going on. I know we're going to get multiple this and multiple offers, but we just have to do our best for our clients. And, they were very empathetic, and they were compassionate. Right. So there's that.
Compassion was huge. Yeah. And you know what, on the receiving end of that, it was hard. Yeah. It was so hard, especially for my buyers, that they would send their best offer. Then it wasn't enough. Yeah. It wasn't enough so many times. And that was very emotional. And you know what, I not only do you have to keep them going in a market like that, you have to keep them motivated. You have to be the shoulder, quite literally, to cry on, tell them to hold on, advise them if it was better to wait. This is where advising your client came in strong, and it still is. It's just a different market.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Are you doing anything specific to make sure that you stay in front of your client database?
I have been trying really hard to get better at videos. I know that videos are huge. Social media is just not my friend, and it's not social media itself. I think it's technology. I don't have a lot of patience, probably because I don't wear my glasses enough. Sure. But it's a challenge. But I've been trying to do more of that and get past my fear of cameras. And hearing myself. I don't like to hear myself. I think that's really common. Do you like to hear yourself?
Absolutely.
He talks all the time.
He does this at home and records himself and just
by himself
for joy in front of the mirror.
Well, you can hear yourself right now, and you're on camera.
I know, and I don't like it.
It takes a while, and then because we used to teach video classes, and one of the things we used to say is, well, that's what other people see and hear. So if they like you, right, that means you got to like yourself.
How do you know they like you? Like, are they going to tell you the truth? Another thing I've heard that how you hear yourself, this is the auditory thing. Yes. It's different than what people hear you. So, okay.
Yeah, but when you actually have the headphones on, this is what you actually sound like.
This is what I sound like.
That's what you sound like.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, yes, but that's one thing is I've been trying to do more videos, try to get better at it and
Yeah.
get past that fear, obviously staying in touch, getting better at that too, because we get busy. We
Yeah.
get busy on the road. We get busy showing homes. We get busy doing things in person. And we have to stay in front of our clients, otherwise, even though I'm sure I'm memorable, but, I'm hoping I'm memorable, but you still have to stay in front of them, and
Yeah.
here's the thing. I've always said this, even every time I close on a property, and whether I'm selling or helping them buy, I always say, I don't go away. I'm not going to stalk you, but I won't go away. And I have had clients, they get a random letter after they close and they're like, do you know what this is? And I promise you, and I promise them all the time, I mean it. I'm not just saying that. You can call me. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it. And I'll be that resource. And that's one of the main things that I focus on is being the resource in real estate. First of all, I love to talk about it. I don't know if you've noticed, I haven't stopped talking, but I love to talk about it. And it's more, to me, it's more of the personalization, the personal end of it. I love talking about that. So if people need a resource or they have questions, doubts, whatever. I mean, if you just want to talk about it, I tell them, text me or call me. I'm busy, but I'll make time for it.
Yeah, for sure.
I
think a good idea for you with video, I think would be, since you're bilingual, right? So what about putting together, Joey and I, when we were teaching this, we always say, well, think of 10 things that every buyer asks. What are the top 10 questions every buyer asks? What are the top 10 questions every seller asks? And then come up with 10 other questions that they should ask, but they usually don't. That gives you like 30 different video topics. But if you were to put a page together on your website that was now explainer type videos, but in both Spanish and English, I think that would be a great thing for you.
Greg actually has wanted me to do Spanish videos for so long. And it's not that I don't agree. I do agree. I just, it's the video thing. I need to overcome the video thing. And I'll be really honest with you. I think there's too many videos out there that annoy me, and I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to pester people. That's just the honest truth. I see videos and I do the head slam, and I'm like,
I'm curious. What kind? You don't have to say who, but
you watching Joey's videos?
Yeah, have you been watching Just videos?
No, I promise.
No. What kind of videos?
I have heard, but it's not you. It's like the obnoxious ones, like the ones that just get obnoxious. To me, that's insulting of people's intelligence.
Sure.
The ones I mean that I'm talking about, that they're just obnoxious.
Are they like formal videos, like TV videos, or are they?
No, they're probably on Reels, or on Facebook,
Instagram,
or TikTok or whatever it is. Okay. Like, people aren't dumb, and I just don't think that doing videos where you're just being obnoxious to capture attention, I don't think I can do that. So I want to provide like a resource. I want to provide information, but I also don't want to be boring. So I think that's part of my content struggle, is trying to find something, because I'm on here now, but I'm pretty goofy.
Yeah.
I'm just silly naturally. And I'm trying to, how do I do that, but also provide a professional angle to it?
Sure.
So I think that's more of what it is. Like, who am I? How do I present myself? And that's the biggest struggle for me, I think, is finding who I am, who I want to present. And that's genuine, but also provides,
I think that's where it
value.
starts, is just being genuine, being genuinely you.
Exactly.
Right. You don't have to be all super professional that you're normally not, right? I'm saying.
Right. Exactly.
Or you don't have to be like extra goofy. Just be who you are.
Be who I am, right, and still provide value. And I think that's my struggle, because topics I could talk for hours on what people, want to know, and what people should know, and the process of buying a house and selling a house and all of that. But it's not being boring, staying genuine, and still providing value. I think that's where I'm stuck. And I'm like,
sometimes interview style, maybe you can get Greg on there with you, just asking you some questions, and you can just have
I actually brought that up with one of my lenders recently, and then he ended up getting sick, and then we didn't do it. But I did tell him, look, can we just do a video, sit down anywhere and just have a conversation and bring up those questions?
Yep.
And then in that, if you're being genuine, it will be capturing and silly or whatever it is, human, because I do want to portray that. I want to portray myself, and still provide value. So that's important, I think. And I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I can find that. But yeah, that's basically what I've been trying to do, is stay in front of my clients, my past clients, taking care of them, easing their mind if they do need to sell, or whatever it is, because let's be honest, life will continue to change. Our needs will continue to change. And that's what I want to be there for.
There you go. I think that you should say it right now that your goal for the new year is to create a resource page on your website for your clients and past clients.
Yes.
It's all video content.
So just record it, and put a video on YouTube.
Yeah, you can do it on a YouTube channel, and then you can just take the YouTube videos and put them on the website too. But I think that you should commit to that on the show here, so that we have it recorded.
Challenge.
And then we'll bring you back to the beginning part of next year, so you can tell us how awesome it is and how your past clients are like, man, this is a great resource. It's so awesome. We've now shared it with all of our family members.
And
There you
what?
go.
It'll give me content to share. I can share it on social media as well, on my
Absolutely.
website and my social media. So how many videos am I committing to?
I don't know. You'll have to think of a number.
I mean, I could commit to one a week.
Oh,
I
There you
think
go.
good one. That's 56
one a
videos.
week is yeah.
No,
That's,
we interviewed Karen Carr on here, who came up with a course, YouTube for Agents, and she does one a week, and she did one a week. So yeah, one a week is
how long are these
a great
videos?
number.
How long are
What's
we?
that?
Was there a specific length that's not boring? What do they say? Usually within.
Well, educational. It depends on what your plan is later with the YouTube channel, like if you're going to monetize or what have you. But I think the sweet spot is kind of in that 7 to 12 minutes.
That's a long time,
So
isn't it?
That's a lot of talk.
But
this is
once
Gabby.
you
yeah,
start-
but think how fast it goes when you're starting on the topic, right?
once you
Right.
start,
Or you cut it down to even shorter, like 1 minute or under, because now YouTube allows you to do shorts, which would be the same thing as like a Instagram reel or what have you. So
I didn't know YouTube started doing that. Interesting.
oh yeah, they're really pushing those too, because they're trying to compete, with Instagram and with TikTok. So now you can have on your YouTube channel not only the long form videos, but you can also have your short videos right there on the same page. So
Right. Interesting.
there you go.
Yeah, I think I could commit to one a week.
There you go. All right.
I just did that on air. Okay.
Yep, you did. So I'm totally with you on the whole, like, raising the level of customer service. I do think that we've seen a lot of people, a lot of people have gotten into the real estate business over the last, even just the last like 18 months. I think I saw something from the National Association at like 200,000 new licensees over the last 24 months or something like that. Yeah, just a lot of people got into it. It's not a difficult thing to get into. It is difficult to provide the right kind of level of customer service that you're talking about, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what divides, I think, the part-time, because there's different agents. Obviously some do it part-time, some do it full-time, and even in that, everybody does it differently. There's a sphere for everyone, and that's why in this industry, like, we can all work together. We all focus on different things. We all have different contacts and such. So there's a lot of licensees for sure. Not everybody is as active than others. So, some of us do this full time. I've done this full time for most of that time. I did new homes initially. I was because I didn't know if I wanted to do resale. I didn't know if I wanted to do new home sales, and I did that for about, I think it was like a year and a half. And then I have a little bit too much energy, or I did at that time, to sit and wait and just, so I just wanted to be out there. And that's why I decided to jump into resale. And I've been doing that since. So I don't know, maybe I'll go back to new homes. I don't know.
Well, you can be a new home source for your past clients too, and for new clients.
That's true.
And you're the one that knows what ones are out there, right? If you're the one that can educate people on the process of buying a new home.
Right. And when it comes to new home sales, I made a really good friend in new homes, because he would laugh, because he would tell me, just stay in the office, because I would come out and ask them, how the trusses work and how they were building 2x4, and instead of, just the different options that they actually build with, and I would ask questions as far as the distance and the beams, and he would just look at me like, why do you want to know?
That's actually good information.
It's great information because it really is. It sets different builders apart as far as the quality of build. I mean, I know it's the bones of your home, but it's the bones of your home, like it's important. So to be able to provide that value in a new home and to, inform the buyer, well, this is why this builder sets itself apart. There's a really good builder here locally that has a full-time employed project manager, and I know why there's value in that. Something comes up, there's someone attending to that. So there's so many things that the consumer may or may not know, and I want to provide all the information. Sometimes I might give too much, so I always repeat myself, and I tell them, if this is too much for you, I'm just a phone call away. Just call me if they have questions, because I do tend to kind of give a lot of information. But I want to, I like being that resource. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll commit to one video a week.
All right.
For the new year.
Right.
I'm going to start prepping now, so I don't have that excuse,
Yeah. I mean, so film some, right? So capture some of them just use your phone to capture some of them. And then you don't have to show it to anybody, but the more that you do, the better you get. Right. So
definitely. And I have done some, there's a lot of drafts. a lot of drafts to be spoken of.
All right.
Have not been released and probably won't. But yeah, I've been practicing, because you do have to practice, before, but you do have to practice like you play, right? So I've been trying to get some done, and then I, of course, critique myself and save it in the drafts. But I'll get past that. And
there you go. All right. So Gabrielle, is there anything else you want to share with the agents before we move to the next segment here?
Gosh, hang in there, guys. It's we're in this for the long term, and let's be kind to each other. Let's hang in there and see what happens. And more than anything, stay positive. Optimism goes a long way. And if we stay focused on doing the right thing and finding solutions, being a resource, we're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. We just have to wait and see. And in the meantime, just provide solutions for what we have on hand.
I like that word, solutions. I think going forward, that's what most buyers and sellers are going to need.
Right.
Solutions to whatever their situation is that they're going through.
Definitely. But thank you for having me on. And I guess I'll be back and give you an update on my videos. Maybe you'll see them before I even come back.
Yeah, better.
Greg on here too.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll get Greg on here next time. At least I showed up.
Yeah.
I just received a text from him, and apparently he didn't get the invite, so that falls on us.
Oh no.
Yeah. So next time I told him, next time I apologize.
Right. Okay.
Oops.
Sorry, Greg.
All right. Well, we got to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty. They always do a great job.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
All right. You ready to get in the ring?
Sure.
Let's do it.
That's our rapid fire time. So here we go. All right. So would you rather listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos?
Watch YouTube videos.
How about pizza or cheeseburgers?
It depends on the pizza and the cheeseburgers, because I like them both. But you know what? I would say a good cheeseburger.
All right. How about your favorite activity outside of work?
I belly dance.
Belly dance?
Yeah.
Really?
I do. I've been doing it for over a year, but I've been trying for a few years now to find like my instructor. And I finally found classes that I take on a weekly basis, and I do belly dancing. I've tried three different styles. I've tried cabaret, fusion, and what's the other one I did, which was not my favorite. My favorite's cabaret. Tribal. So there's so many different styles. I never knew that.
I wouldn't have guessed that there were that many different.
Right. No,
options.
I didn't either. And tribal, there's so many accessories to it. I mean, there's wings, there's baskets, candles, like It's crazy.
Jeff likes to do belly dancing.
I do you. You know what?
Yeah.
I figured that. Right when I saw you, I knew it. I knew we were going to bond.
That's funny. So what's the goal with that then? Is it, you said you had to find the right instructor, right? And
right.
everything.
You know, the funny thing about it is I think here's what I believe in life, no matter what you're talking about. I think life is going to present opportunities to you, right? And the best and the only thing that we can do is keep our eyes, ears, and heart open. And it's going to lead you there. That I believe that wholeheartedly. And I started doing these classes a little over a year, and recently went to a Lebanese restaurant, and met one of the owners there. And he, one of the ladies that was there said they're looking for an entertainer, like a dancer, while people are eating dinner, like it's a Lebanese restaurant, they have dancers. And I like freaked out, of course, immediately. I'm like, what? So anyways, so he invited me to come back, and I said, I want to watch what they do. So I still have yet to go back. So stay tuned. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe I'll be dancing on the weekends after showing homes. I don't know.
Belly dancing agent.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's another sphere. I'm just
cool.
a jack of all trades, I
There you
guess.
go.
Yeah. But no, I do that.
Here's the way I see it then. If you're willing to belly dance in front of strangers at a restaurant.
I never said that. I said it will wait to see. If I do that, then
I was gonna say then hitting the record button on a video camera is not really difficult.
My defense, when you're dancing, like you're in costume, you're like you're just it's a whole different thing. Like that's a whole different agent you'll see, So yeah.
No, I totally get that, because when I put the luchador masks on, man, I'm a totally different person.
You get it. But
I was Nacho Libre for Halloween.
Oh, no way. I love him.
Yeah. Nacho.
Oh. You didn't have was your wife, what's her name? Concepcion?
No, she wasn't.
What's her name?
I don't remember. What's her name, Jeff?
Encarnacion.
Encarnacion. That's her name.
Encarnacion. Oh. Like that, right?
I'm done. Where's the mic?
Yeah.
Remember that part? He plays
Of course. I love him so much. That's awesome. You're gonna have to share pictures.
I have about 12. I have about 12 luchador masks.
Nice.
Yeah. We bought a bunch when we go down to Rocky Point, and so when we go on vacation with one of our good couple friends, Clinton. Well, you know who it is, Joey, Clinton, Rochelle. We'll go to Mexico with them a couple times, and I always bring enough masks for all of us to put them on and get pictures.
Nice.
So I have to tell you this one story before we get off of here. Clint and I put on the masks up on a rooftop pool area, and Terry, my wife, and his wife, Rochelle, took pictures of us. And then later that afternoon, Clint and I jumped in the water to cool off. The girls were laying out, and these older gentlemen, probably in their 70s, one of them said to the other guy, "Hey, did you see there were some WWE superstars here earlier?" We were cracking up because
I can just imagine your smiles like big kids.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Have you ever been to the taco shop in California I think it's called Luchadores?
I haven't, but I think there's one in
Diego,
Chandler that has the luchadors all over the walls too.
Might be.
Yeah, there's one in Tempe.
Might be the same owners, but I've been to the one in near San Diego, and great tacos. If they're the same here, I'm gonna have to look them up. But yeah, and that made me think of that. So did you say Rocky Point? You go to Rocky Point?
Yeah, lots of times.
Oh, I love Rocky Point. That's like my
Puerto Penasco.
Yeah, Puerto Penasco.
We've been a lot of places in Mexico. I mean, Cancun, Cozumel, Puerto Vallarta.
I love Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, that was our last trip before COVID. We got back, and all of a sudden everything was COVID this and COVID that, which was.
Speaking of real estate,
that's the trip that we took the masks.
They're still building. Real estate in Rocky Point is awesome. I'll probably own over there. I have friends over there that do real estate, so I'll probably own a condo or something over there.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm friends with a guy that a realtor down in Cabo also, and he's always posting awesome pictures of new builds going on down in Cabo.
Nice.
So
good to know.
All right. So last question for you. How about your favorite vacation destination?
I loved Hawaii, but I love the beach. I love the beach. I think that's one of my goals is as I travel more, I want to travel to see every lighthouse possible. Like the lighthouses are so historical and symbolic. That like they think about what a lighthouse is for. They're the beacon of light, right? They guide, they and everything that they, get put through day in and day out, and they stand strong. Like I love the symbolic meaning of a lighthouse, and that's probably how I will travel. Like how I will travel to seek the lighthouses around the world.
That's cool.
But any beach really. But I love Rocky Point. It's my home away from home. But I loved Puerto Vallarta too. But Hawaii was great. I surfed in Hawaii, so I loved.
So did I. Maui.
Yeah, loved it. Thrilling.
It sounds like a travel blog is in your future.
That would be nice, right?
All about lighthouse. You can belly dance in front of the lighthouse.
Yes.
Belly dance in front of a lighthouse.
There you
Okay.
go.
You know what? As long as I'm still doing real estate, somebody's got to pay the bills.
There you go.
Belly dance.
Gabrielle, this has been a lot of fun having you in here. We appreciate you coming in.
It has been fun. Thank you for having me again. Thank you to the sponsors. And I'm looking forward to being back with some updates on videos, because something's got to push me there where I reach that comfort, and I just stop thinking about what I'm seeing and how I'm hearing it and just do it, because that's what people hear and see anyways, whether
That's
I like
right.
it or not,
That's
you know,
right.
like you guys are stuck with it. Like,
Yep.
But yeah, thank you for having me for sure.
Absolutely. All right, agents. Until next time, we will see you.
Happy holidays, right?
Happy holidays. Adios.
Oh, yeah. There we go.